Good afternoon, Mr. Devi Prasad. Thank you so much for joining us today for this interaction to understand how your organization has been making use of apprenticeships. The sector that you belong to, which is apparel, and also the retail sector, it will be really, informative for the other employers in the sector to know that how apprenticeship can be executed in the most effective manner and how they can make most of it. So thank you so much once again for joining us. Before we get into the details of what are you doing and how are you going about doing it, help me understand what prompted you to get started with apprenticeship and for how long have you been executing apprenticeships?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Sumit, for calling for this our interactive discussion on this subject. See, to be honest with you, like what was happening for us in our trade, because we are managing the retail business on all India basis. That means we are a part of large format stores like Lifestyle, Central, Reliance. I mean, there are so many big stores happening where we always have our counter to trade. That means this counter need to be managed by my salesperson in the retail, in managing my counter in terms of display, in terms of stocking, attending to the customer, everything needs to be managed. So this requires a manpower. So now, as per all our commercial understanding with the channel partners and all, the manpower need to be provided by us for all our counters. This is how the background and this is how it started. Initially, I started with about 25-30 counters like this. And by March 2018, I almost came to about 200-220 counters. And
Wow. That's a
getting
phenomenal growth.
And getting the manpower to manage an all India basis, sitting in one place, be it Bombay, be it Bangalore, wherever. I may be operating from my head office or corporate here, but I need to manage all over India. Then it was a big challenge as to how to get the manpower first. Starting from recruitment, placement, training, handling them, and monitoring. It was a big challenge. In addition to that, the issue of labor law compliances. You know very well in our country how much of this thing is there. So in a smoother way, without getting into major complication, where I get a dedicated manpower, their needs are met and our needs are met. I mean, under this situation, we were trying to find a solution. Like, what do we do? What do we do? So at that point of time, wherein came to know about this apprenticeship, and there is a provision in the law to do it, and there are service providers who can help me in executing this. Well, on my own, I will not be able to do this. We will be requiring a service provider who can take care of all these uh, compliances issue, which is a very complex issue. So that's how it was. We were looking out. That's when we came across with this, and we tied up. And from 2018 March onwards, we are into this. So now,
so it's been like 2.5 years.
2.5 years. And when I said I started with 250 and all, 220, 250 numbers, I even went up to 500 to 550. That is the numbers which I was operating before lockdown.
Before the lockdown.
Before the lockdown, that is there. And now for this purpose, there is a churn and there is a reduction. But I'm going to come back to the similar numbers. That's how it is.
Fantastic. So would it be okay for me to say that apprenticeship has, since you were growing, you needed talent, you needed the workforce to operate your 200 counters as you just mentioned, you needed people for that, and apprenticeship helped you build a people supply chain, or kind of the productive resources. Apprenticeship helped you doing that?
Yeah, definitely. See, what is happening is, when we find it difficult to source at the first point, then once we source and we put them here, and see, in this, what has happened, the employee gets a fixed stipend. That means he is very well aware that monthly he gets some amount. Plus, then he thinks, along with that, where he will be searching for a job, And today, straight away, nobody will be absorbed or taken into any kind of job and pay salary with all the purposes, all the benefits. So first, anybody, any organization will say, no, I want to try you out. I will see all these things. But at least in this resource, when you go, it is like, two-way track. It helps the organization. It has helped an individual apprentice also, that he
Absolutely.
comes on board and he joins, he gets trained. And while he gets trained, that means he comes with a raw background wherein fitment will be very easy for me. That's another advantage of getting a raw person, so that I can make a proper fitment. So because I can groom him the way I want, the way what is the performance I expect out of him. So those are all the advantages of going into this apprentice. And after they finish their training period, I also have a chance, they will also have a chance. That way I can recruit them wherever my vacancies are there to continue forward. Or if I have no vacancy, at least they will find a good equal opportunity elsewhere to compete and make their livelihood. I mean, that is the good aspect of the apprenticeship.
Absolutely. So I think very rightly put across that yes, it's a win-win for both, for the employer as well as for the apprentice,
Yeah.
because a
Correct.
youth able to enhance their employability factor to get employed.
Yeah.
Likewise,
Yeah.
you mentioned that even for an employer, it's a good process for you to evaluate, groom the person, and who could become your potential employee in future.
Correct. Correct.
Help us understand, sir, how are you executing this program? What are the process? What is the model that you are using apprenticeship for? What are the job roles, and for what duration are you making use of apprenticeships?
See, basically, the way we do this is that the training period varies between 1 year to 3 year, depending
Okay.
on the requirement. And also here, what happens is, how do we look at it is the person who comes, they come with a basic background of 10th standard or 12th standard or degree, whatever, various levels. So normally what happens at the level of PUC and 12th standard part, he would have left his education background. I've seen he would have left his education background. He must be searching for a job. He would not have got a job. So we prefer that kind of people where when we take them, we tell them that with this kind of apprenticeship, what we are going to offer them, they will get a chance to educate themselves. I mean, they can get into study more and get more qualified. Between 12th standard, they can become a degree holder or whatever. That one opportunity along while working. And while working, you are earning a stipend to meet the needs of your livelihood as well as you can study. So this is the kind of this thing which we look at it and we place them.
So you
So
are implementing degree linked apprenticeships.
yeah, link apprenticeship. That's
Very
what.
nice, very nice, very interesting to
Yeah,
see that. I think something very recently, even in the NAP now,
yeah,
which is going to focus more on the degree linked apprenticeships,
yeah, yeah.
came up with some guidelines. I think the model would really be, conducive for both, for the employers to maintain the continuity and also for the upward mobility
Correct,
of the youth.
correct, correct.
Which job roles, sir, that you are using, using apprenticeship for?
This is the purely the retail background, as I told you. So he will be the job role will be to manage the sales. I mean, of my counter at the large format stores. That means
Okay.
wherever I am trading, like it will be about ranging from 100 square foot to 200 square foot area, wherein all my garments is displayed, where this person will be there as a store employee, and you will stand there and you will attend to all the customers whoever comes to procure, buy my merchandise, and he will organize the display of the merchandise in a proper manner as per the directions given from time to time, because ultimately all our merchandise and all our products will be displayed basis the storyline in which the design is developed for each of the seasons. I mean, it's a peculiar trade of the fashion industry. So these people will be put onto those areas and they will be trained, and that's how they do the work.
It's purely on the job training what they are going through. And what about the degree part of it?
Yeah.
How does that happen? That that's happening online, or how is it, sir? That's happening online.
Online.
And I'm assuming that when you said that you use the word employee, is basically it was an inadvertent error. You meant apprentice there, right?
Apprentice, trainee.
Yeah.
See, what would happen is those people for the channel partner are in the stores. These people, whoever work, they treat them as employees in the sense to say they don't differentiate these people as an outside trainee. They will be treated as like on par with these their employees in the store. They get the same due respect. They get the same what do you call, a person should not be differentiated. Hey, he's a trainee, no, it will not work that way. So that is what I meant. But
so which means that you're creating a culture which enables apprenticeships.
Yes.
It's not that they're considered as a little low level cadre.
Yeah, exactly. In that sense, I said correct.
Fantastic. So how do you monitor? Like it's been, you said 2.5 years. What are the mechanism that you have in place to monitor the progress? Is there an evaluation process that you have?
Yeah, it is there. See how it is happening as far as our trading. So we have our own culture in the organization where my area managers are there, my regional managers are there. So they would be actually training them on the job, and they will be frequently visiting all the counters, because how we have created, if there are 10 counters or 15 counters, I have one team leader. And for 10 team leaders, I have one area manager. That's how we have captured. So that means the entire organization culture, as well as the training and the products from season to season, what is the importance of the product? Because what happens for anybody and everybody when you go, a t-shirt is a t-shirt. All the t-shirts in the floor looks alike, but in what way your product is different? So to that level, they will be trained. And how to address a customer, because each customer's behavior is different. Ultimately, you need to be a polite salesman. You need to be groomed very well. You have to be presentable in a way. All these things we do. So how do we monitor? Yes, I told you, this is the channel. My team leaders would visit the counters. We get the feedback from the stores. My regional managers will visit and take the meetings regularly. And we also have the set targets for the sale, which gets percolated up to the trainee level at the counter. So he knows that this is my target for this month, I need to achieve. And what we do apart from the what we call Stephen, basis the target and achievement, they also be provided with the incentive scheme. So that encourages them. That's how we.
That's a good part, sir. But apart from just the sales, what are the other ways? So how do you ensure that these people are making a progress? Because in a retail environment, it's also a lot of soft skills which are essential. So any focus on that?
That's what. First itself, as I told you, the grooming standards, that's what we take. And the other soft skills, like in terms of how to manage a customer and how to have interaction in the store level itself with the other salesman in the same floor or other product category. See, at times it may so happen that he is managing my counter, my employee, fine. My trainee, he is doing the job. But at times in the stores, what happens? The next counter, the person, for some reason, he is not there. But there is a customer has come. So he also has to manage that. This is the level of understanding they have to play upon each other. So what we call as the teamwork, what we call. So we tell them that what is teamwork? You need to be a team player. In addition to what you are as an individual, you also need to become a team player. Because at some point of time, you are one person today. When you grow in your career, you need to start managing the team. That means unless you know what is a teamwork, it is tough. All these type. So our HR would get involved on all these things, and they will in day-to-day interaction. I'm sorry to say, it will not be day-to-day interaction actually from the back. It will be at least once in a month they interact and get to know and tell them all those.
So any challenges that you're facing currently? in making and implementing apprenticeship, or were you facing and now it's kind of you settled down? How is it like?
The one big challenge which is there, which was there, which is there, and I don't know how to really overcome that completely. But we can definitely minimize that as we progress. That's what I've been thinking. See, what happens in this category where we place, though it is encouraging and we get the people, the attrition levels are very high. People
What would be the attrition level, sir?
It is almost on a monthly basis, I am seeing 20%. It is
80%.
No, 20.
It was a 20%.
20%, which is
Okay.
actually high, but we should minimize that. As I see the reason for this, generally, as we get to know in the market, in our trade especially, it may not be the truth with all type of apprentice in all other industries, especially in our industry. See, even for a small amount, the person jumps, he goes away. He doesn't think about the long-term career. He doesn't think about, what could be my educational background when I came here, and what is that I have learned, and what more I need to learn to become more advantageous for me in a long run. He doesn't think all those things, because at that level, what happens is even 500 rupees matters. They jump and go away. So that's why I said, to avoid this conflict, at times we have introduced that incentive scheme, wherein apart from your stipend, you will also get incentive provided you perform, you earn. So that's how we have, all these things we have done just to retain them. Of course, this is the major challenge as what we face.
Monetary is the mechanism that you are utilizing, right?
Mechanism.
Control the attrition for yourself, for the apprentice.
Yeah.
But do you
That is
also
one
feel that there is a lack of realization by the youth or by these apprentices that if they complete, what's in for them is a wonderful career if they kind of stick around, complete it, and if they get certified?
That is also there. So how much soever we try to teach them, we try to explain them, at times I could say it is more a childish behavior. Like, when we were kids also, whatever teachers say, we will not accept immediately. We do what we want. I mean, at that level, entry level, the behavior pattern is there. They get discouraged with so many things. Because they would have just come out from the college or college dropouts, whatever. Their ambition and aspiration is different. They will be, trying in all fields. So, okay, this I have taken because I have nothing. But they don't want to make this as a career. Only serious people will make this as a career and come back. This is where I say that 20% problem is there, and I feel it's going to be there. At least I should be happy. Fine, that 20% is forget it. At least 80% is benefited. No? 80% is getting benefited and 80% is moving forward, which is good for me, good for them. So suppose if I want to achieve 100% and starts working towards that, probably I may even lose out 80%. That concentration of 80 is good. Yeah. So this is the only challenge.
Absolutely. So, sir, I mean, 2.5 years being into apprenticeship, have you had a batch which is kind of passed out? Have you had anybody whom you have absorbed in your on roles and into employment so far?
I think not much. Maybe about 7-8 people we have absorbed already.
And that would be what percentage of your total?
Negligible, very negligible. Because as I told, the training period for them, what I have provided, initially 1 year. Okay. Then we have said that we will extend it by 2 more years. So now people is still not completed the training. So
okay, so this is still not completed.
The initial period of training, what I have told 1 year and who have completed. Only out of that I have taken.
Sure. So just being a little inquisitive here, but is it that because the apprenticeship duration is kind of prolonged and they realize that, within a one time they are now skilled enough to be employed, then they tend to look out, and that's the reason why you have the attrition happening? Do you think that could be one of the reasons for people to leave, or if they know that within 1 year, if they're going to be into employment, the attrition would be much lesser? What is your case? Or another thing would be that, do you feel that the attrition is more after 1 year, or is it in the first few months when they're settling down, when you have the attrition?
No, I think it is well within the first 3 to 6 months itself.
Okay.
Whatever happens, it is between 3 to 6 months. But after that, when they stick on, they are there. Those kind of people are still there. That's there. It is the first initial period of 3 to 6 months is an issue.
Is where you find the high attrition
Yeah.
rate.
That
So
means the
you said that
serious
right
people
now.
will be there.
Sorry, so you say.
No, the serious people will remain. Who would have come just for the sake of it? They are the people who will make an exit. That's all. Yeah.
So right now you said your absorption is very is negligible, but do you intend that people from the apprenticeship who complete it successfully will become part of your system or part of your organization?
The way if I look at it, not that I will be able to provide full-fledged employment to everybody.
Sure.
I mean, if I say that, I'll be telling you lies.
Point taken, sir. Very valid point.
It is just not possible, because you imagine if I am training 500 people and I need 500 people of that caliber at all the time for me. So how many such people who can get absorbed into my roles will be, as I told, 10 team leader. See, I always have one team leader for 10 to 12, 15 trainees. So I mean, one among 15 may stand a chance to continue as team leader. And that means the team leader vacancy should arise. The existing person should go, or that existing team leader should have become area manager. I mean, this is the way it works. But definitely it will help the trainee in a different way. Because the moment he is trained for 1 year or 2 years, then for him, the market is wide open than when he was a raw. So he may get absorbed somewhere else in some other brand or some other store. He will stand a chance. So that's where we are opening up the door. We are helping
today. So, sir, let's say today, if you're talking about, I think that's a very good point that you made, that people who complete, everybody, but yes, let's say about, would it be okay for me to quote like maybe 10 or 20% people get absorbed at a supervisory level, or that will be also too high?
That will also be too high.
Okay.
It's too
okay. So let's say that, but there is a chance that they will get to the next level if they complete successfully.
Yeah.
So there is a progression for them if they stick around. There is a growth for them in the organization.
Definitely it is there. Definitely it is there.
So how would you say that? Do you think that apprenticeship is a good strategy or a part of the talent development strategy?
Yes, definitely. Definitely, yes. So ultimately it is, as I told, there is a good amount of benefit both for an apprentice, that means a person who is undergoing the training, and it is a good benefit for the organization as well, in terms of, as I told, all labor compliances and all cost effectiveness. That is all the thing for the organization. In addition to that, whenever you need somebody, you can approach the people whom you yourself have trained, because you will have that kind of pool available with you. You can approach. If you have trained 500 people, always at the counter, if you have in a year 500 people with you, out of that, like even 50 people after their training period, if you are able to approach them at any given point of time, maybe they would have joined elsewhere also. But you need them. You will always have the chance to approach them, and they will also be happy to come back to you, because you had given them the stepping stone. So that is the organizational reversal of that is for the trainees. When he is a raw person today, as we know, wherever we go, we always had a situation that employment, okay, what is your experience? The first question, what is your experience? If a person is not at all given an opportunity to do something, where would he get an experience? So at least this apprentice thing is one thing. It gives them a platform to gain experience at the initial stages. And where he goes to the next level for any employment, the moment he says, yes, I have this experience, he stands a better chance than the person who is a raw.
Yeah, absolutely, sir.
That's the advantage.
My next question to you would be, since you have experienced apprenticeship, you have executed apprenticeship, are the qualitative and quantitative benefits that you see? And I would request if you could list down at least 3 in each of the categories, sir.
See this, when I say qualitative means it is definitely, again, I'm coming back to my own earlier sentences where it is, I have an opportunity to train a raw person to become more and more experienced into my trade. And I stand an opportunity to retain him as required by me at any given point of time. That is one of the qualitative I'm going to enjoy. Then the other thing, as I said, the liberal rules with reference to the manpower management. With this apprentice thing, the flexibility is there in the labor laws, complaints. I mean, that is an advantage. And when that advantage is there, there is definitely a cost benefit is there to the organization. It has benefited with that extent. Like today, I mean, if I give you an example, suppose in case of apprenticeship, I am okay to pay only stipend and I'm not going to pay that ESI, PF, whatever the thing. Now, question is, for a guy, it's not that I want to make any money out of that situation. If I compensate him by way of an incentive for him, his on-hand payment is more. So today, this younger generation, what they see is what I need today is today. For tomorrow, I have not reached that situation to think about tomorrow because this is the younger generation. Maybe a middle-aged people will think, okay, I need to save for the future, the social security measures, all those things others will think. For these people, they want cash in hand. So this gives me a flexibility wherein I can afford to pay them and they will be happy. This is the kind of advantages is there, what we have seen.
Okay. So, but what do you have to say about, okay, any quantitative thing that you say, or the cost would you consider under the quantitative?
Yeah, maybe another quantitative, if you want to look at, is my improvement in the more and more they get. See, for example, the guy when he joins in the first months of his performance, maybe very less. After 6 months, the way he approach the customer, the way he deal my products in the counter and other things will be much better. That has contributed in the increase of sales. So that itself is my quantitative improvement in the sales. So we have seen that.
So I think I can say that it's more on a productivity basis, right? That you said the productivity improves over a period of time.
Over a period of time, yeah.
So again, so if I were to draw a comparison, let's say today somebody whom you have an apprentice for about a year.
Yeah.
There's a person whom you hire externally. You were to measure their productivities.
Yeah.
Would you rate better?
Little difficult question for me to answer on that front because each one has got its own merits and demerits. Because for employee, when I have recruited, the parameters are different at the entry level itself different, and his pay scales are different, and how I measure or monitor him will be totally different. And an apprentice, how do I manage is different because generally an employee I am seeing for today and for tomorrow in a long run. Apprentice also I am seeing in the same manner for long run, but the question is his performance levels because I know very well, will he stick on with me or not? I do not know because it is two-way track.
Okay, so sir, let me rephrase, sorry. Yeah. What I meant was that if that an apprentice who gets upgraded to an employee versus the person whom you hire externally, both of them are employees today, but one has graduated from an apprentice to an employee, one you have hired externally.
No, then
that is what between those two.
No. That means if I take into employment a person who has trained as an apprentice, and there is a guy whom I have recruited, direct recruitment, who has not done any training. I prefer a trained person.
Apprentice who gets upgraded.
Reason is Even this guy whom I have recruited directly, then I need to spend time to train him into my product and my this thing. Whereas the guy who is already trained as an apprentice, I don't have to waste my time in doing so because he's already groomed into that this thing. So definitely he will be trained person is always better than the that way.
Sure. So, do you think that apprenticeships have paid off over so many years? That you have you got your returns on your investment, or it's too early?
I could say when there is a lot of indirect benefits we have already derived out of it, and I could say it is paid off for me. I mean, like it is paid off as of now, and there is a long way. I mean, I can if I can reap more and more benefits from that on a continued basis. It is definitely good.
So, when you said that it's indirect, what do you mean by indirect, sir? Here,
The indirect in the sense, like as I told you, first itself, the fundamentally when I started, what was my great challenge? How do I get 500 people all over India to do my job in the sales counters, sitting in one place? Because that was a big challenge. So this apprentice scheme, which has helped me to recruit a local guy locally there and still follow all the required compliances, what is required, and able to derive the result what is required. And I meet the requirement and I derive the result out of it.
so the
Both.
talent creation or a real-time talent availability is what you feel that which has helped you in the longer run,
Yeah.
which was
Yeah.
not the case.
Yeah.
Any
Sourcing the
specific-
talent.
Sorry?
Sourcing the talent at a local level who
Okay.
are at a, like school dropouts, college dropouts, like those are the people to whom I can say that I can provide you an employee, a training here. After getting trained, you will have a career. Like that, I've always found through the local guys only, because it is always better. I can't send one person from Bangalore to Coimbatore here because I rather recruit a guy in Coimbatore to put into this job. So this was all possible. Like
Fantastic. So localization, I would say that developing talent locally,
locally. Yeah.
quality of talent, how you groom the school dropouts, and
Yes.
how do you make them more.
Improve upon.
I think that's a wonderful
Yeah.
to mention. Any specific episodes, sir, that you recall that made an impact to your memory or to the performance, of these apprentices? When anything that you remember, any episode?
See, I remember in one or two occasions, basically, to be honest with you. One of our meetings when I had one of the large format store, where the store manager, he came back and said, "Sir, the trainees whom you have put on your counters, at times I have seen they perform better than my regular employees here." Because I think, it was his candid this thing. At times, we should always put the people under training first and then make them employees later. The direct, if you take an employment, I think managing them is little tougher than managing the trainees. So what he went to say was trainees were little humble in their approach in doing the things than their regular employment. I mean, this was the thing which an outsider had told me. So I think I took that as a good this thing.
That's definitely a compliment. That is
Yeah.
definitely a compliment, sir.
Yeah, really. Because if some of my apprentice is performing better, which is recognized by a third person, that makes me very happy. This is a good thing to do. So,
Lastly, any recommendation that you would like to make to your peers in the industry?
no, definitely. See, even right now, even in the past also, or in future also, whomsoever I came in contact, they discuss with me, how are you managing? Because this is one big challenge in our industry. They come and ask me, how are you managing this kind of manpower, this much of sales force? It's not a joke to manage. How are you managing? So because immediately they go into a different direction altogether. So then I tell, this is how you do it. It is beneficial for you have helped in creation of the employment for future to the people. In the meantime, today's your business needs, you will be able to take care more with a more cost effective this thing. And it works, and it has worked for me. Like that, I kept telling, and I think a lot of my small industries, they have already started approaching in this direction. They're already there. I think going forward, a lot of people will come into this. At least in our industry, with the retail expansions, whatever is happening, a lot of people will come into this. They'll come.
Fantastic, fantastic, sir. Thank you so much for your time. It was nice to hear your comments, your opinion, your experience about apprenticeship.
Sure.
And I'm sure there's a lot that the viewers are going to learn from this conversation, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have shared just my experience, nothing else.
That was wonderful, sir.